welcome back to Female Voices, Life and Loss. I am your host today, Wayna Berry. Teresa's not with me today. We're gonna miss Teresa, but she'll get to watch it she'll watch the clips. So I am joined today by one of my colleagues. We were in
Mhm.
grad school together many moons ago. Dr. Camesha Hill-Carter. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now, lady, you do like 1,000 things. Give me like a summary of everything that you do.
I am currently just Trey Carter's mom and Patrick Lynn Smith's mom, but in that I am a therapist. I am a community advocate. I believe in altruism and I work in the community.
She is downplaying you guys. She is a servant and she serves others. That is who she is. She is all about the Lord and all about the community and all about educating all of us. She downplaying it because it's 18 other things. A talk show host,
Listen,
she
listen.
gives out awards. She got a diaper program. Like she is out here. She's out here doing the work. So glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
And so we are going to talk a little bit today just about life transitions, right? Um,
Sure.
and Lord knows I didn't been through 18 myself, 18 myself. So
Mhm.
tell me about the journey. You tell me about life, the transition that was the biggest one for you.
The biggest transition for me is when I was served divorce papers from my ex-husband. That really took me for a loop. He had always been a womanizer or cheater, and this
Really?
last time he cheated, I was like, "Well, you know what? You out there. If that's where you want to be, stay out there." And he did. He took me up on my word and he did. And at one time he had a baby mama, a mistress, and a wife.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Wait a minute. Now let's start from the beginning, though. How did this thing start out? How was we got 30 minutes, but we gotta get some background so the audience know what made the impact so hard because you guys had a church together, right? As I understand,
We've been knowing each other since the 5th grade.
the fifth grade.
The 5th grade, and in the 5th grade, he knew I was his wife. And
Wow, in the
so
fifth
but
grade.
and we went to different middle schools, but then we ended up back in high school together. And we are
Mm,
the only Black couple that from our high school got married. All the other couples got married, but we were the only Black couples who from high school got married. But we
mhm.
didn't get married until 1998.
Okay, okay.
So, and from there, he was this up and coming preacher, evangelist. He still has the word in his belly.
Mm,
You
mhm.
know, the gifts and callings come without repentance. And
Right.
so he was this phenomenal guy. And you
Uh-huh.
know, the anointing draws. And
Right.
because the anointing draws, it drew and it
Yeah.
drew and it drew some more and it
Wow.
drew some more
I
and
didn't
it
hear.
drew some more. And at that time, I
Uh-huh.
didn't have an identity, knowing that I was never called by my name. And at that time, Trey wasn't even born. So I
Mm,
was mommy, I was first lady, I was evangelist, I was sister, I was
mhm,
cousin, I was everything but Camesha. And
mm,
so I lost my identity in things. I lost my identity in him, in our statue, in
mhm,
what we were doing for the Lord, being a person of not even like a role model, you know?
mhm.
People were emulating their life because I was and am. And so with that, getting caught up in that, but really losing me. And so in that, we ended up
How long were
my
you guys
oldest,
married?
yeah, between my oldest and my baby is 21 years.
Mhm.
So spending 21 years to have a baby. We talk about life and loss, but having 5 miscarriages,
Woo! That
being in
is.
high powered jobs, still trying. That's one of my books coming out, being powerful and broken. I
Yes,
was
yes.
way up here, but I was still broken down here, again, losing my identity, a loss. And so
Mhm.
when we went through the rigmarole, I had been through the rigmarole with all these other women, including the baby mama, been through the rigmarole. And here comes this lady. But the difference between the other women and this lady, he moved out. And
Mm,
so
mhm.
I was like,
It
"If you
didn't
out
happen
there,
right
stay out there."
away. Did
Huh?
it happen right away? Like, I remember we in school when we were in school for our counseling degrees, and we would have to counsel each other and stuff, and I know
Yeah,
that
and
it
y'all
happened
took care
around
of
that
me.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it happened during that time. Y'all were my village.
Mhm.
The money started getting funny. The
Okay.
money started getting funny. He had just graduated because it was always for me to graduate first, and then for him to go to school. He had just gotten his bachelor's degree and getting ready to go into his master's program, and he got the highest paying job he ever had. I was
Mhm,
still over the finances, but
mhm,
then when it was time for extra stuff to come up, "Oh, I ain't
mhm.
got that. I ain't got
What you
that."
mean?
What you said? I ain't got that. Oh, the bonuses, we didn't get bonuses this quarter. Did it so all the things, all the
Right.
little things. And in the
Mhm.
meanwhile, this is why I tell when I counsel men who have cheated, I said, well, everything you've done for that woman that you're cheating with, do for your wife, she will appreciate it. So
Probably
he was giving
tenfold,
her,
you know?
huh?
I said probably tenfold too, you know what I'm saying?
Right, because she was in the trying to think about our relationship, he and I was paying all the bills anyway. So all the money he was bringing in was just knocking dead out. So when
Mhm,
he left with a good credit score.
mm.
But once I find out and plug in for T-Mobile, hopefully you start sponsoring Female Voices Life and Loss because T-Mobile, everybody said, "Oh, you've been with T-Mobile for 15 years." I said, the night that found out he was cheating, I mean, literally away, gone, like with this other woman and not coming home.
Wo
I was paying all the bills, right? So
Wow.
if you ain't gonna sit up there and talk to no chick, and I had live over there with her on my phone bill. So
Exactly.
I called and cut his phone off. And
Mhm.
then Dr. Camesha
Okay.
said, but she's petty.
The Lord's
Sorry,
still working with both of us on that.
sorry. But I had his phone cut off. He
Mhm.
cut it back on. I cut it off. He cut it back on. And the man, because I was crying, because my feelings were hurt,
Well,
and I was
I would have
crying
been
on the
wounded,
phone.
shattered.
Right. And the guy on the phone at T-Mobile, he said, "I'm sorry you're going through this." And I was Dr. Kamisha at the time, and he
Mhm.
was like, "Dr. Kamisha, I don't know what to tell you, but the only way to protect you and your family at this time is to put a code on your phone." And he said, "I can't tell you what to do, but you can put a code on your phone.
Sounds
And
just
when
like
we ask him for the
mhm,
code, then if he cannot produce the code, then he can't get his phone turned on." And
mhm.
I was just crying. I said, "Put the code on," and I would blurted out the numbers
Aw.
and a girl, okay, because that was a hurting thing because he
No, it is.
literally
Mhm,
because, you look at the cell phone bill, he wasn't calling her from the house, he was calling on the cell phone. You look at the cell
mhm.
phone bill, he would talk to me for 2 or 3 minutes, but he was on the phone with her for 400 minutes, 700 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
So
Your
wounded.
time, you decide to put your control. You decide to put your time and attention there until you got done because Kamisha's gonna take me back and she's gonna be all right. And guess what? Even in that, I said to the lady he's now
Mhm.
married to, I said, "Ma'am, just gonna send him back home because he gonna do it again. Just send him back home." Not knowing now hindsight is 2020 that I really had low self-esteem about myself
Mhm.
because I was willing for the sake of love to receive this type of love, not knowing I did deserve better. So it was a whole lot of rigmarole.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find him. And
Mhm.
the thing was we couldn't find where he was. So my divorce attorney, shout out to Felicia Exel, she don't do divorces anymore because she a judge.
Loving him
But
more and more. Mhm.
listen. And so, we couldn't find him, so we couldn't serve him. But that put to me was like he really doesn't want to be found. He really doesn't want a divorce because I was raised in the age that you really don't leave your husband. And when you
Mhm,
get to the funeral and you be like, they still married, and that
mhm.
special friend is there. So
Girl, I wish I might. I wish I might. But see, that's the difference though, because I was raised with a house of independent women,
mhm,
and the women said the men a dime a dozen. Like
mhm,
my mother, shout out my mom, she gonna be mad, but she'll work through it. But my mom been married 5 times.
Okay.
And she's like, "I'll do it till I get it right." You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, that's where she and the other women in my life, they were like, "I could get married, I could not." Like, they weren't
Mhm.
pressed about it. So there of course, there's positive and negatives to that whole thing.
Yeah. But
But
I was
I
raised on the music. It's the music because I didn't realize how much programming that was in me. It's better, right? It's better to have a piece of man than having no man at all,
not my mama.
no
Mm,
pain, no gain.
mm-mm.
Um,
Not my
don't
mama.
blame
She's
Miss
a pimp.
same
My
song.
mom's a
Don't
pimp.
blame Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie's just a man and he's trying to do the
Mm,
best he can. Cheating in the next room. All the music,
no.
the blues, the R&B music, everything. Of course, that came after I started working on me and
Yeah.
figuring out who Camesha is in this season. And
Mm,
actually, that was 10, no, 12 years ago.
years ago. That might have been the time that I saw you. It might have
Yeah,
been.
that was the time that we started class because y'all were my village. I love Nicole. She fed me. Y'all let me cry. We supported each other during school. We were the last two to finally get our counseling degree. So all the elders, everybody played a major part in my healing.
Mhm.
So during loss and transition, having a village that is non-corrosive.
Let's define that for our listeners.
Having a village that is non-corrosive, somebody who is not blaming you for the choices that you have made. If something is corrosive, it bubbles and burns. And
Mhm.
so if you are in need of healing, you don't need people beating you up telling you, "I told you you wasn't supposed to be with him in the first place." Even though it came. It came now. Because all of my mama's friends, well, cause Misha, your mama told you not to marry him and whoop, the whoop, the whoop. But I was more healed to hear that when I heard it because my village was surrounding me and we
Mhm.
were all counselors, right? Learning to become therapists. And
Mhm.
so I talked to whoever would listen.
No, we all could chat. We all like laying our souls bare. Like
It
this
was
is
free
better.
counseling.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
yeah, I just and thinking about that, thinking about not knowing who I was, because when we finally got the divorce,
yeah. Mhm.
it was he wanted to fight me on that. Your name Camesha Hill. No, my name is Camesha Carter because I can keep the name until my baby turns 15. When my baby turns 15, then I release the name. And
Mm.
then I told
What was
him,
that significant?
and huh?
Okay. I was like, what's that significant for you? Keeping that name until
Why I'm keeping the name?
yeah.
Girl, all my business is in. He might as well get rid of everything that I have done since he left as being Camesha Carter. So, and
Mhm.
so
It is
now
what
I
it is. Yeah.
hyphenate Camesha Hill-Carter because people have to know that at 15, which is in a year and a half from now, I have to drop that name.
Mm.
And so, but I don't have to really, but my name is actually Camesha Hill
Mhm.
through the divorce. But Trey, I was able to keep the name because
Mhm.
my baby was young and my baby needed identity. So that was the hardest thing because everybody knew me as Honey. He said, "Oh yeah, and that's my honey, and that's Honey and Honey," and people thought Honey was my first name
Mm.
or First
Well,
Lady. Nobody ever called me Camesha. And a lot of people don't know about Misha. They know the foundation, Dr. Misha's Chosen Women, but they don't know the significance of the shortening of the name.
okay,
My
tell me.
name actually means safety.
Mm.
My name is found in Genesis 10 and 30. And it
Mhm.
says that you must go to the hill of safety, which is called Misha. In African or Egypt, Ka is king or queen. So Ka Misha, Queen Misha. Now you know queenly behavior and queens, and I call you queens and things because my
Yeah.
name actually means queen safety.
So beautiful. And I also want to say to everybody that Kamisha has a PhD in education. And so this
EDD.
was linked to our teaching and our storytelling, and things like that, because that's where she is at her core. She's a
Mhm.
teacher. And so I do want to say, when did you figure out that you lost that identity? When did that come? Did that come after 10 years, 5 years? Like, wait a
It was
minute.
immediate. It was
No,
immediate.
inside. So is what I was thinking, like, where when you were inside the marriage, did you think about, "Man, people don't call me my name. People don't
I ain't
ask
thought about it.
me." Didn't even
Didn't
okay.
think about it. I'm not ashamed. So
Cool.
March, let's see. We were supposed to go to marriage counseling. This was prior to him serving me papers. We were supposed to go to marriage counseling like March 28th or something like that. And then he called me with her on the phone. And of course, do what men do. I don't want you, do this, you that, this, and that. And that night I couldn't handle it. It was too much.
Mm,
And I
mm.
tried to complete suicide.
Oh,
And
so
so
sorry. Mhm.
it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay because I lost hope because I had no identity.
Mhm. Bring it full
So
bring it back. Okay.
right. So the rip of the relationship ripped me from my identity. And
Mm.
so in that it was purposeful. It wasn't good for my oldest son. That wasn't good for our relationship, but that's another loss and we'll talk about that later.
We got to do a part 5 on this mini series of us, 'cause there's a lot there that I think people can learn from.
Mhm.
And when you talking about just, how that broke you, how you became hopeless, I have been in a similar journey,
Mhm.
with my son dying and with me and my husband struggling and with my own husband wanting to separate after our child died. So I can understand that sort of hopelessness and sort of despair. And I imagine you tell me if I'm right or not, but in my mind, I was like, Lord, I did what I was supposed to do. You know, I covered my family, I did all the things that a wife should do.
Mhm.
And since I'm not happy or being bubbly, whatever, he's over it. He's over it. Um,
Well, I don't believe he was over it.
no, no, not your
I
part, but
didn't
just
give
meaning you
him
served him and you serve your family.
right the entire 18 years
Yes, yes.
until and I hindsight, okay, 2020 hindsight, I stopped focusing on him and start focusing on me.
That's what
When
the
we
Lord
talk
told me.
about when my mom died, it was a shift in me.
Mm. When did mom die?
So my antagonist died, the person who I used to fight against all the time. She died. So I at that point I was losing purpose in life.
Mhm,
So trying to figure out Camesha. Again, still no name because I'm with him.
mhm.
So a lot of little shifts got me to the point that okay, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. And mind you, when my mom died, he went in the hospital for congestive heart failure. And I'm
So again.
honestly praying, saying, God, you just took my mama. Don't take
Mhm,
my husband. For
mhm.
him to get well enough and then you go cheat. You know, I was like, kill him. Yank his heart back, Lord.
Oh, leave mama here. You know, mama was good, you know.
The Lord done
Right.
spared you. You out there clowning, you know. But
You
but
can't bring
it
them,
was
Lord, then they
necessary. It was necessary for growth. We often you said I was in the church, but we often pray, Lord, prune everything that is not supposed to be with me. And so the scripture says the Lord will cut off everything that's dead on you. Then
mhm,
he will come back and cut more to produce more fruit. The divorce, if we were both obedient, would have survived. I mean, the marriage would have survived. It wouldn't
mhm,
have went in divorce. But the Lord saw fit that he was dead. So he cut him away. And so I had to be okay with the Lord cutting him away. Because
mhm,
if we say God is wise, infinite in wisdom and understanding, then
mhm,
God knew what was ahead that was
mhm.
totally detrimental to me and my kids. So
How old was youngest boy at this time? Your
two,
youngest? Yeah,
he was
so
two.
we have a 2-year-old and we have a what,
23
23,
year old.
yeah, 23.
Because they're 21
Uh,
years apart. Mhm.
and then, our 2-year-old, which she hasn't shared, but there was some challenges with the 2-year-old just in general. And so
Mhm.
you have that, and then you
Mhm.
have I'm a woman of a certain age having a child too at the
Agreed. I had
time.
Trey at 41.
Me too. That's I have my son at 41. And then we are going through, a divorce of a man that I've known since
That's
elementary
right.
school. Lord, this can't be my life.
It wasn't my life. That's not the life the Lord wanted me to have. he wanted me to get to this life that I am, but we often fight. "Oh, she ain't gonna get my husband," and I was there. I'm petting my people, "Nah, girl." But I wasn't that one who would call and do all of that. I didn't have energy, for that. I
Mhm.
had to use my powers for good and not for evil, and that's what
Yeah, and being in a marriage where your husband is shifty like that is exhausting in itself
it is, but
because it
I'm the
does
gift,
mess with your identity and why am I not good enough? What is out
and I
there?
went through that.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
went through that until the first man was like, "Hey, sexy." I was like, "Oh, well, hey." And I
Yeah.
wasn't looking good either, because if you look at all of my pictures during that time, I was in mourning because I wore black. I wore a hat and I wore black, and everything about me was I was like, "Girl, you was depressed," and I was in therapy. And then you have your side counselors, the people who you call friends, and yeah, the first thing you need to do to get over a man is get under a new one.
She like, "No, I don't wanna take my brokenness to my next relationship."
Well, girl, at the time, I was searching for Camesha, so maybe my identity is in a man. Maybe my identity is in this. Maybe my identity I was still searching for Camesha.
Mhm.
And so in that, I was trying every wives' tale, every old adage, every scripture, every this, everything, and learning that I was out of control. It
Mm.
wasn't even addiction.
Mhm.
It was seeking to find out who I was because the pain was so bad. It's like I stayed with you, I could have been a left. You know, I stayed with you, I could have been this, I could have been that, but never looking at the blessing. Because of him, I have children.
Mhm.
I only was able to have one kid. I couldn't have no kids. I had that one. And I tell everybody, what if I would have aborted Patrick? Where would I have been? I would have been cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs until Trey showed up. Right? Even though Trey did have his medical difficulties and
Mhm.
later diagnosed with autism,
Mhm.
he's still a great kid. He's
Yeah.
still mine. I was blessed with children. You remember I had said that in class. And they said,
Mhm.
"What is the one thing that you are thankful for today?" And I said, "I have the ability to say I have children." I wanted a sky full of children, baby. I'm like
Aw,
the
that's so
Mario
cute.
lady, Queen Rosalia. I want all the stars to be my children. I wanted a whole lot of kids, but that wasn't what the Lord had in store. But he
No,
knew I'd tell the story.
there's a no, I was just gonna say there's a loss in that in general, just of the life that I wanted. I saw myself, he's this anointed man. I just knew we would be blessed. I just knew I would have 6 or 7 kids. I just knew I love children and I love these things, and then it didn't go that way.
Mm-hmm.
For myself, I talked at a mother's group just talking about my boys, and I was like, "Women, we sit up here and we want this big love story, and we want this,
Mm-hmm.
that, and the third." I said, "But my love story was from my boys. My
Yeah.
boys
Mm-hmm.
showed me what unconditional love looks like, and I
Mm-hmm.
became a better person because of them, because I'm modeling what you do right. I'm modeling
Mm-hmm.
how you can still glorify the Lord in these challenging seasons where,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I'm with you on that.
And I'm thankful
Mhm.
that the Lord saw fit that I needed that kid. And now he's 14 and smelling his trust me, with his dad, we can talk. You said 6 or 7. I got years and years of stuff to talk about with co-parenting and abuse
Mhm.
and stuff like that.
That's the show. Yep, I'm putting it down. We're gonna go on co-parenting because I got it from both sides.
Mhm.
We can talk.
And now that my child is no longer allowed over there through the courts.
We'll talk, yeah.
Oh,
We'll get
yeah. Yeah,
we'll
but
talk.
I'm not afraid. I mean, Trey's testimony is Trey's testimony. There was some abuse there. And as a parent and
So hard.
as a therapist himself, didn't hotline the abuse. So I'm like, I don't give a doggone. Of course, I ain't use those words,
I'm
but
with you.
it happened in
Very
your house
colorful
or not.
language.
You had to hotline. And so
Exactly.
with that, it turned into she's still mad 'cause She ain't got nobody, she want him back and this. No, ma'am. No,
Like, been there,
sir.
done that.
Right. And so,
Assume it, gotta keep
and that's a whole story how he pretty much did a TPR voluntarily because he refuses to if his wife cannot be in the car or she can come, then he doesn't come see his kid. So that's a story in itself.
been
But
there.
back yeah. But you
Yeah.
know what? Like I back to what I said, I'm the gift. I empower everyone. The loss is not because you did anything wrong. You
Mhm.
may have had a part to play in it,
I definitely
but
did.
it's not because you did anything wrong. We can't prevent loss. Loss is going to happen. I mean, you lose a fingernail. I mean, we lose every day. You
Mhm.
lose gas in the car, you lose this, you lose that. And if you don't have a loss, then that means that you are stagnant. And the person that is losing is you. You are losing you. And so I became to the point that I was losing me and
Mhm.
learning who I was. So everybody was calling me, you Professor Carter, Dr. Camesha, Dr. this, Dr. that. And so I was at the point that I didn't want to be called anything. And I went in a very, very isolating place. And for anybody to know me, know that I am very extroverted. I'm
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
not an omnivert, I'm an extrovert. I need people, I need energy. But at
Mm,
that point in my life, I became the seed.
mm,
I was planted and I was in the dark. And I had to figure out who I was in the dark.
mhm.
Thankfully, I did not go back to um, suicide ideation, thinking
Mm,
about, okay, I can just jump off the curb. And none
mhm.
of that happened because after not completing suicide, I said, well, I'm here for a reason. I might as well stop trying to
Did
play
so
God.
who was there? How did it get interrupted?
Uh, it didn't.
Mm,
It didn't. My oldest son woke me up after taking the 14, 15 pills,
mm,
and it was Tylenol with codeine. I was trying to go out of here, but he woke me up. He said, "Why you put Trey in the bed with me?" And I had told him at that point, I didn't want Trey to wake up to a dead mama. So I
wow.
put him in the bed with Patrick because
Mhm,
Patrick was still living with me. And he
mm.
woke me up, and then that again, that ripped our relationship. He said, "You could have said something, and you strong, and you this." And I said, "But baby, I'm tired. I'm
Yeah,
tired of being the strong one." So
yeah.
I do have a strong friends group because we can take all of that off our shoulders because you
Yes,
end
yes,
up
agree.
carrying everything and everybody. And at that time, I was carrying that ex-husband. I was carrying because we still didn't separate properties. We were still going through all of that, and it was
And
a
that is a
lot.
death. Divorce is
Yeah,
a death. It's just
yeah.
it's so gutter. Like, people don't understand how, because I know it's many times the Lord was with me, but there's many times I really wanted my ex-husband just to be.
And that's homicide ideation. We fluctuate either it's homicide ideation or suicide ideation. You find yourself somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just real. That's just being
Exactly.
real. That's if
Right.
you're speaking real.
Yeah.
That's not, "I left him to get with somebody else," or, "I left him to marry." It's like, "No, I left you because this is toxic. I cannot do this unhealthy thing anymore."
And I
But
didn't want to give it up. That's how much entwined I was because I believe I was a
18
good
years, man. You had to unlearn 18 years,
girl
and it was
and
probably
unlearn
more
how to
like
love
30.
him. But I loved him. I mean,
More than you love
literally.
you, though. That's what that sounds
And that was the problem. And
yeah.
so God had to I felt like I was in the matrix, girl. I got flushed down and this is the real world. And I took the red pill. I ain't take the blue pill. So I'm out here with the people in Zion and doing the dance and stuff because this cannot be my life.
I'm
And
with you.
again, my picture has shifted. Yeah, it was a lot. And so for this segment, I it took me a while to rebuild. I had to write a couple of books. I still have not
Mhm.
published Finding Misha, Hurt, Hold, and Heal because I really didn't get healed until what, 2 years ago?
That
But
that'd be
I
the
can
story.
talk about the hurt. I can talk about on the road of being whole. And I can tell, but now I am officially healed. I can wear that badge with honor because it took a while for me to find out who I was, and that took 4 years. I
Mhm,
didn't even start dating until 4 years. And if we're talking spiritually,
mhm.
the soul ties.
Yes, I'm with you.
The soul ties. Even though I didn't want him, I was still good to him
Right.
because of the soul ties. I wanted to be burning dead on waiting to exhale. I wanted to burn up everything. But when he was in trouble, okay, if y'all fighting over crazy stuff, but it was a soul
Yeah.
tie. If y'all fighting over there, then you can always come up and stay with Trey. And knowing that now hindsight, that was a soul tie.
Mhm.
Now it's like, oh, you a grown man. You can go figure
You
out how to
figured out.
live. That's what grown people do. They get their own houses. Now you
You
can't
so
come up in
sweet,
me.
but you was sweet to even know what was going on. Girl, my ex-husband, I blocked his number for 6 months. He didn't know where I lived or he could not call me. He had pissed me
Well,
off
I
so
ended up staying in the family home. I and
bad,
that
honey.
was crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, for
yeah.
as much as he didn't want to be with me, he lied to everyone
I
because
believe
my neighbors told me, "Oh, he said he was a over the road truck driver. That's why he wasn't home."
you
People
like,
would see me and
"Girl,
say, "Oh, where is such and such so and so?" I said, "We're divorced. I just saw him the other day, and I was saying, oh, your wife." And I said, "Girl, you talking about the new wife?" 'Cause when we
I
got
was like, what?"
divorced in April the 22nd would be 11 years. When
Mhm.
we got divorced in April, he was married in September, but
Oh,
he had been living with her for a whole year and a half.
still better.
Cause
Still
yeah.
better. Okay,
So
man. Like, yeah, we it's gonna be a part 2 though,
yes,
because
it is.
there's some things we want our listeners to understand fully. What
Sure.
that journey of divorce looked like, took support systems, because there had to be things in place to keep you just even putting one foot in front of the other. You know what I'm saying? With that kind of a loss, 18 years. And then we want our listeners, we wanna leave them with some takeaways with that self-care during those seasons. So just for right now, where we're at. So we're still at the divorce. We haven't even got to the other side of co-parenting and new wife and all
We have
these things
not.
and how she moved from you could come back if you're going through it to no, you're grown, you'll figure it out. I want to get in the weeds a little bit on some of that
Okay.
because there may be some women that are struggling with boundaries really is what that
And
was.
that's what it
Um,
was.
it's just like, no, you can't, we're divorced. Like, don't call me with your problems, period.
Agreed.
But we just
Agreed.
want to talk a little bit more about the transition that needed to take place to get you
Get
to
you
that
Yeah,
healthier.
get you a village that is
Mm,
non-corrosive, and it's people who are not gonna hold you at fault for being less of a woman. Your identity is in you and not in another person, and
mm.
that's how we keep going back, is because we think we need a man or another partner, a woman or another or a trans lover. We think we need another person to be complete, and you don't. You just need
Okay.
you.
And on that note, we are going to end because there has to be a part 2. There's some more. I got like a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions. So
Sure.
we're going to ask her to come back.
More than happy to.
This is going to be our own little 5-part mini series. Part 2 is going to be like how did I get through the divorce and get to
Okay.
the other, and then we want to talk about those how to parent those older children, how to take care of a child with medical autistic child with some medical limitations and things like that.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3. And then we'll talk about the woman, the professional, and what it took, how cathartic I imagine was writing those books. And we just want to learn a little bit more. So
Okay. I'm here.
when you come back,
I will, I promise.
all
You my
right. All right.
girl,
We're
girl.
sold out today. No, you my girl. Because you see how she says she an extrovert times 1,000. She absolutely is. So when you see her, you're already in good company. She's family. As soon as you see her, you're like, girl, we cousins. Come on, bring it in. You know. But we're gonna come back.
Sure.
There's a lot here that I think we can all learn from, and share, and we've all experienced it, right?
Mhm.
Divorce is just a death, even if it's on the best terms. It still is a death, and it's a lot. And there's a lot of other transitions, like she talked about grieving. Mama was dying. Her husband he was having heart surgery. So there's some other griefs that we want to put some eyes on and see how Dr. Misha, Imma just take out the Camesha, Dr. Queen Misha, how she navigated that and walked through that. So, more to come. Thank you for listening, our Female Voices, Life and Loss. I'm Wayna Berry, and today I have been blessed with Dr. Carter. I'm just shortening her name for her. Dr. Carter. But we will see her
Thank
soon
you.
because we got more to learn. We got more to
Yes,
learn.
ma'am.
All right.